Welcome back to another episode of Times Record News Brew Review. We're your hosts, Orlando Flores Jr. and Chris Collins. It's been a while since we've ventured out of the office, but we're here at Back Porch Draft House in Wichita Falls for a very special event. We've got Megan Canto here, who is the North Texas District Manager for Ballast Brewing and Spirits. It's a really, really well-known brewery in San Diego. Chris, I think you know a little bit more about them.
Yeah, well, what most of you guys are probably going to be familiar with is the Sculpin IPA, which is the flagship beer for Ballast Point. You probably also have had the Grapefruit IPA, but we've got some other selections here in front of us. And Megan, can you tell us a little bit about the beer we've got in front of us today, and a little bit about the company before we get started this week?
Yeah. So Ballast Point's been brewing for about 20 years. They're out of San Diego, California. We have 4 locations down there where we brew at all 4, which we're very excited to have so many facilities. And we're actually going to try 4 different beers that we have on tap. We have our Longfin Lager, we have our Sculpin IPA, our Mango Even Keel, and our Watermelon Dorado.
So, and with all those names that you just mentioned, kind of sensing a little bit of a nautical theme.
There is a nautical theme, you are correct. Since it is out of San Diego and our owners, Jack and Yusuf, were big fishermen, we definitely have fish names and nautical theme names for all of our beers and our artwork, as you can see.
All right, well, let's go ahead and let's dig into the first one, the Longfin Lager. Tell us a little bit about this beer while Chris and I
So the Longfin Lager, yes, please consume, is a German-style Helles lager. It comes in at 4.5%. The IBUs are at 18, so really no bitterness. It's going to be very clean, crisp, sweetness, a little bitterness at the tail end, but a dry finish. Again, it's that nice low ABV, all-day drinking beer, personally, and honestly very easy to consume. It's a good intro to craft beer as well, since it's so light. And yeah,
and you can see the clarity here.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Cheers.
See how well it was filtered. It has. You're right. It has a very refreshing, crisp taste to it. It's really quite enjoyable. And this is something that beer drinkers who maybe don't like something with higher bitterness, with more IBUs, they might enjoy this more, right? This is going to be a more accessible product within this company, correct?
Yes, definitely. And we will have this available in kegs and in bottles in the market.
Awesome. So, you know, wise man once told me you can tell a lot about a brewery by their lager that they make. And it's either, you know, one that you either hit it or you miss it. And this one's a definite hit. I had this earlier today, and I was mentioning to Mike Stokes with Falls Distributing that there's just something about the scent to it. It doesn't smell like a traditional lager. It doesn't taste like one. There's something extra in there. I can't really put my nose on what it is, but it's really good. But it doesn't interrupt the cleanness of it or how crisp it is.
You can also tell a lot about the quality of beer, how quickly it is drank. I want you to know. I want you to know, Orlando's here.
I feel behind right now.
Megan and I are civilized. We have been drinking our beers and pacing it and trying to actually taste something today.
When I taste a good lager, I can't help myself. I'm sorry. So. With that in mind, Chris, what would you rate this beer if you had to give it a rating?
That's a mugs up. It's a good lager. It's crisp. I don't see it as being too different from a lot of other lagers I've had, but this is certainly better, I think, than some lagers a lot of you are probably used to. You know, your Coors Light and your Bud Light. I mean, I think it's better made than that, and it's something that's going to appeal to a craft beer crowd, but still be accessible. And I think it's very well made.
So I'm giving it a mugs up as well, and I'm, you know, tailing off of you at the end there with it being something that a craft beer drinker will really enjoy, but it's also going to be something that's accessible to somebody that hasn't tried it, and maybe they're interested in something a little different than Texas beers, which we've featured a lot of recently. With that being said, let's go ahead and move on to the next beer, which is
Mango Even Keel. Mango Even Keel originates from our OG Even Keel, which is our session IPA. Session meaning it's going to be lower than 4.5 to 4%. Mango Even Keel comes in at 3.8. IBUs are at 40. So the nice thing about Even Keel in general is that you're going to get that nice IPA mouthfeel. You're going to get that bitterness. A nice malty profile. With Mango Even Keel, we throw mangoes in there. So on the nose, you get that nice mango aroma.
Yes.
And on the palate, the mango's right up front, and that nice bitterness that you want from an IPA is on the back end.
Everything that you just said is exactly there. The first thing I noticed whenever I picked it up and held it close to my nose was that mango fruity scent emanating from the glass. Taking a sip of it, it does have that, that little bit of a bite, that bitterness of something like an IPA, but it's nothing too overbearing.
Exactly.
And you still get a little bit of that mango flavor with it too. So it's a pretty nice, crisp IPA introductory beer for people that maybe aren't used to drinking hop bombs or anything like that.
Definitely.
What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I think a caveat to that though is that I think when some people hear mango even keel, they're going to think this is going to be sweeter. I don't think there's any discernible sweetness here. There's some bitterness and the tartness of fruit, but I don't get any sweetness at all, which I personally like. I don't really like sweet beers, but if that's what you're looking for, this isn't really that.
Yes, that should be
I think
said.
for how low the alcohol percentage is, I'm actually surprised at the bitterness.
Yeah.
I mean, this is quite bitter beer, and
It is 40 IBUs, and it comes in at 3.8.
Really?
Yeah,
I would have
so-
guessed it was higher than that.
Exactly,
actually.
right? It has a big malt bill to it, which gives that round profile to it, so it doesn't taste like a watered down session beer. And that mango is a nice little kick.
And that's one of the criticisms, right, of some session beers.
Yeah,
Some people say, Founders All Day IPA and some other beers in that vein are just not as good. They just feel like they don't taste as good because
Feels like
it's
they're
a
missing
session,
something
right?
almost. Yeah. I would say this is definitely not one of those. This is one that everything is there, but just in a much more compact, tolerable, swig. So that being said, if I'm rating this, I'm giving this one a mugs up as well. I think this is something that, again, similar to the lager, great for craft beer enthusiasts, also good for people that are not used to drinking IPAs and maybe kind of interested in trying that out, because it is a completely different drinking experience than your standard lager, pilsner, or anything like that. What about you?
So the brew reviewers are in agreement. Also give it a mugs up. I like this.
I do too.
Awesome.
It's good. What's next?
Next one is Sculpin. Sculpin IPA is our most popular beer, rated number 2 best IPA in the country, which is pretty awesome. And it's more of a tropical IPA. It comes in at 7%. It's 70 IBUs. You're going to get a nice little mango, apricot, citrus up front. And just like a Sculpin, which swims on the bottom of the ocean, if you touch it, it's going to sting you. You're going to get that nice bitter sting on the back end of your palate.
I like that description.
I didn't realize that about that fish.
Yeah, it's very prickly. I have to be very careful.
It's a San Diego catfish.
Is it? Well,
I don't know. I'm just guessing. I have no idea. There's no
Like,
scientific.
Yes.
There's no scientific foundation to what I just said.
Don't quote him on
Take
that.
that with a grain of salt.
And the special thing about Sculpin as well, I can't get too much into detail about which hops we use, but there are 7 varieties of hops used in Sculpin, which is a lot more than your traditional IPA.
Can't tell us any of them.
I can't tell
Not
you any
one.
of them. It's so secretive.
Ballast Point is secretive.
So I think the thing that's really jumping out and biting at me right now with this beer is how well balanced it is. Like, when you have the mango even keel and you taste the bitter complex to that, you're kind of thinking that if this one is a session beer and this one's the full-fledged, it's probably going to be way bitter. But I almost feel like maybe it's not. I don't know, maybe it's because I just had the even keel right before this, but it feels like this one's a little bit smoother.
It is going to be very smooth for your typical IPA, just due to all the hop profile that you're getting. It definitely mellows out that bitterness, even though it is at 70 IBUs.
I perceive it as being less bitter. I think I have the same experience too. I perceive it as being less bitter than the one that is actually
Less. That's actually
has
less
a
bitter.
lower IBU rating, which is interesting.
But yes, I don't think I actually said it, but this is definitely a mugs up for me. I've had this beer before. I'm very glad that it's here in town. I don't have to drive out to Dallas, Fort Worth, or further to go get some now.
So the next one we have is Watermelon Dorado, which is our double IPA. It actually stems from our regular old Dorado, which is a 10% double IPA with 90 IBUs. It's definitely going to have that nice malt forwardness, again, with that nice citrusy hop to it. But we decided to add in watermelon. We added watermelon in and also cucumber. We added the cucumber in to cut that sweetness up front. Just like mango, even keel, you're gonna get that nice juicy fruit flavor up front. Again, not overwhelming. It's not gonna be, it's gonna be very well balanced. And then you're gonna get that nice bitter malty profile on the back end. I don't know if I said it was 10% and it's at 90 IBUs, but if I did, now you know twice.
Yeah, that's a very important
Knowledge is power.
stat
the
to note,
10%'s big.
especially
Past brew reviewers will remember a lackluster experience we've had with a previous
this
watermelon
is
beer.
exactly where I was going to go with
This
this.
We're on the same.
Yes, we're on
This
the
was
same
New
wavelength with
Belgium's.
this.
This was New Belgium's watermelon something or other.
They
and
used watermelon and lime.
It wasn't.
It was a lager.
And it wasn't bad, but you could not taste the watermelon.
Oh.
And that's the whole shtick. If you make a watermelon beer, it doesn't taste like watermelon, then why should anybody buy it?
Exactly.
Doesn't make any sense. That's not the case here. This double IPA, it smells like no IPA I've ever smelled before. Actually, the watermelon smell is
there. It's very there, like that. And then when you mentioned the cucumber, it's a little bit of cucumber.
You get a little bit on the aroma, but it definitely not on the palate. But it's nice to have that watermelon balance because it can come off very sweet.
Ballast Point did not want you to question whether they actually put watermelon in this beer.
No.
They did not. And it's very prominent also in the taste.
Indeed.
I don't know if I could have picked out the cucumber if you hadn't told me, but there is some like crisp, refreshing quality.
It's like a cooling
to it.
coolant
Yeah.
And definitely does cut down that sweetness of what you would like expect in a watermelon flavor to be. Like you get the first little bit of hint of it, but it never becomes so prevalent that like, oh, all I'm drinking is a watermelon flavored drink.
I think the watermelon is very, very prominent, actually.
Well,
I don't
I'm
think
not
it's
saying that
overwhelmingly so.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to get at. It doesn't overwhelm the rest of the beer. It's just a component in it.
Right, and I guess the sweetness also is a factor, is a large factor here. I mean, whereas the mango had a mango effect to it and was not sweet, this is really different because there's the sweetness of the watermelon really comes through. Are you able to say how the watermelon is added in the brewing process? I mean, can you
actually
give any?
Can't talk about the fruit process. I can tell you it's watermelon essence. That's what I can tell
Essence.
you.
All these
Yes, sir.
secrets.
All the secrets.
Is that like an imaginary watermelon?
There
or
you go.
something?
This imaginary watermelon
Okay.
walks into the beer. No, yeah, unfortunately I cannot. Sorry.
Got you. Okay.
Well, however you guys do it, you do it very, very, very well.
Thank you.
I would say. And
Convincing watermelons to jump into a vat of brewing beer. I don't know how you do it. I think this is quite good. Yeah, I would say I don't know if I would drink more than one of these. I think it's really sweet. This is something that I would like, and then I would like to have some other things in between it, as opposed to just drinking one after the other.
Definitely.
Probably also because it's a double IPA.
It's probably best that
You don't want to be pounding down too many of them at one time. But the watermelon is very strong, and it's really quite sweet. I'm giving it a mugs up though. I think it's really quite good.
So I'm actually going to give this one a sip slowly. And then not to say that this isn't a great beer. This is a very, very great beer. The sip slowly is, had you not told me this was 10% ABV and 90 IBUs, would have had no idea. And I feel like that can get some people that aren't so used to these heavier beers in a little bit of trouble. And just as you said, I'm similar. You know, we have pretty similar taste in beer. This is something that I think I would want to have this experience. Definitely would want to have this experience again, but then it may be spaced out a little bit with some other things in there. I don't see myself being able to like pound a 6-pack of these, and for good reason, obviously.
Yes.
So, and with that being said, like you should know as well. Don't try to sit here and drink like 2, 3, 4 of these in a setting, because they will probably sneak up and get on you.
So literally, sip slowly, not because it's bad, but because
for your own safety, yes.
10%.
that's it.
A very well.
All right, so we've
beer.
gone through the flight.
Yes.
What else do you have for us? Let's
So
keep.
we're really excited to be launching in Wichita Falls. We are with Falls Distributing, which I'm very excited about. The team is fantastic and very enthusiastic. These are all the SKUs that we actually have available in package.
Wait, what is a SKU? What is that term?
Well, package. Sorry.
Okay.
Non-industry insiders here. So we need
like SKU, like a barcode or
exactly.
something.
Yeah,
Okay, right.
there you go. So we have Sculpin, we have grapefruit Sculpin, we have pineapple Sculpin, we have Longfin Lager, which we sampled. We have Grunion, which is a phenomenal pale ale. I don't know if you gentlemen have had it. It won gold at GABF 2 years ago. It's a mosaic hopped pale ale. I love that beer. It's a beautiful beer when you crack that open. And also Big Eye, which is the OG IPA, the first IPA Ballast Point brewed.
Okay.
So those are all of our current packages that we have available, and we are just kind of figuring out what the market likes and what we should bring in, but we'll definitely, fingers crossed, we see some victory at sea.
I like these
winter.
I like these acronyms. The OG IPA, which is the original gangster India Pale Ale. Correct?
Exactly.
They are out on the West Coast.
For the
so,
viewers at home, with an acronym dictionary in front of you, that is what that
That's
stands
what it
for.
means.
That is the
I
original
apologize.
gangster of Ballast Point beers.
just means it was the first one.
I said that in the widest possible way I could have said it.
You did good.
Original gangster.
Original gangster.
Gangster. The very
All
pronounced
syllables
R at the
pronounced.
end.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, we are very excited, and we're going to be running around, and I believe we're going to taste some pumpkin down soon.
So this video is going to end, and we're going to go down to Bricktown Tap House and Kitchen over by, it's in Sykes Center Mall, Midwestern Parkway, and we're going to try a very special seasonal beer that you've got available for the second year ever.
Yes, so it's our pumpkin down, which is actually our piper down, which is our Scottish ale. We decided to throw fresh pumpkin in there, a minimal spice, and it's our pumpkin beer of the season. It doesn't taste like overspiced pumpkin pie. It's very well balanced. As we know, pumpkin actually doesn't have too much profile to it. So it pairs very well with the Scottish ale that we threw it into, with that malty caramel richness of the Scottish ale. Pretty excited about that.
Very excited about that. And with that being said, you can consider this the Brew Review Crew's offering to the fall gods, as everybody with their pumpkin spice lattes are making right now. So we will go do that. Be sure to check that video out. Thanks for joining us, and thank you for introducing us to all these great beers.
Thank you guys. This is fun.
See ya.
Thanks. Awesome.